John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I have spent time at FICO and Equifax, 3 decades of experience. Today we're going to talk about the rebuilding of credit after a bankruptcy. All right. So rebuilding credit is very different from establishing credit. Establishing credit is something you do when you're very young. You only can do it once. It's almost like, popping the cork out of a bottle of champagne. You can't recork it and start from scratch. Once the cork is out, the cork is out. So you only have one opportunity to establish credit for the first time. If you do establish credit and you either use credit irresponsibly or you have some sort of major life event like a loss of a job or some sort of catastrophic medical issues, then you may have to seek assistance from a bankruptcy attorney. So what is bankruptcy? Simply put, bankruptcy is legal protection from your creditors. And there are 2 types of bankruptcies that consumers normally file. Those are under Chapter 7 under Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code, which is why people commonly refer to them as a Chapter 7 bankruptcy or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. They are similar, but they're definitely not identical. Chapter 13 is what's referred to as a wage earner plan, or a WEP. It is for people who are still employed and make enough money that they do not qualify to have all of their debts basically wiped out. So when you do have a Chapter 13 and you do have some sort of an income, you can still file bankruptcy, but you have to make a payment every single month, and then the trustee is going to disperse your payments to your creditors. And after several years of doing that, then your bankruptcy eventually does something called discharge. And then that means that's it. Then your creditors don't get any more of their money and you don't have to make any more payments. Your creditors definitely take it in the pants as far as losing money. Even though they get some of it back, they definitely don't get all of it back. So they definitely take a loss, and that's Chapter 13 bankruptcy. They remain on credit reports for 7 years. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is what's called a straight bankruptcy. Basically, any debt that you have that is statutorily dischargeable, meaning that it is legally dischargeable, is essentially wiped out. You can still choose to make payments on your obligations, like you may still choose to make your car payment because you don't want to lose your car, or you may choose to still make your credit card payments because you still want to maintain those credit cards, but you don't have to, because technically that debt cannot be collected from you any longer. So one of the misnomers about bankruptcy is that it somehow gets rid of the debt. It doesn't get rid of the debt. It just gets rid of the lender's ability to collect the debt from you. It didn't magically pay off the debt. The lender still lent you the money. The lender still didn't get paid all their money back. It's not like the debt magically disappeared, but that's kind of how it's commonly referred to. The lender just can't come after you for payment, so they end up what's called writing off or charging off the unpaid amount. So rebuilding credit after bankruptcy is not easy. It does take time. Chapter 7 bankruptcies can remain for a decade from the date that you filed it. And there is no silver bullet, meaning that you can't just snap your fingers and then all of a sudden you've got fantastic credit again. It takes time, and you have to be reasonable with your expectations. There's so much garbage floating around on YouTube, and all these fake experts who are standing in front of Lamborghinis that they don't own, trying to pretend like they can tell you how to rebuild your credit after a bankruptcy, but only if you pay them some fee for their service. It's a multi-year and very difficult process. Number one is you have to put time between yourself and the bankruptcy filing. Your credit reports are going to start recovering, as will your credit scores, simply by putting time between yourself and the event. When I say time, I don't mean a week, I mean years, all right? Establishing new accounts, to the extent that you're able to do so either through secured credit cards, small credit builder loans with credit unions, small personal loans, probably high interest credit cards from subprime issuers, that's fine. And that helps you to populate your credit reports with good information that help to kind of counterbalance the effect of the negative information. But look, the one thing that I can't repeat this enough, is that there is no silver bullet. There's nothing you're going to be able to do short of convincing the credit bureaus to delete all of your negative information and the record of the bankruptcy filing. That is the only way that your credit reports and credit scores will recover immediately. Otherwise, you're just simply going to have to wait and be patient and allow these things to age off your credit reports organically. The law allows this information to remain for 7 to 10 years. And so to the extent that the credit bureaus are going to choose to maintain it, it is 100% legal for them to do so. So please, please, please be realistic with your expectations. It's a long-term process. You don't have to pay someone who, from YouTube, advertising some service to help you to magically rebuild your credit overnight. It's unlikely to be accurate. So be realistic with your expectations. If you have any questions, I feel like I'm gonna probably get some arguments from some of these people in the comment section. Trust me, I welcome them. We'll talk again soon. Have a great rest of your day. If you have filed bankruptcy, I'm sorry that you had to do that, but just be aware that it's going to give you a fresh start. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.